First of all, COVID changed everything. It absolutely changed everything. I venture to say I'd still be singing if it weren't for COVID. That, like many people, ended a lot of careers, started other ones. But so there's sort of, when you look at this question, you have to look at the pre-COVID and the post-COVID. So uh, as I wrote a major paper for my master's in arts administration, I chose to write it on small opera companies in the United States. And what I discovered is that actually opera in the United States has been expanding since the probably the late 80s, early 90s, but it's been expanding in terms of small, sort of grassroots opera, mom and pop opera companies. And those tended to survive COVID because they are small and flexible and fluid, and they can pivot very easily. So the bigger companies with the huge budgets, with these big commitments, financial commitments, that have to sell X number of tickets and bring in X number of dollars in donations and grant money, they have had a harder time than the small companies. But opera is still everywhere. It's still growing and expanding. And it may not occupy the percentage of the public awareness that Joan Baez or Paul Newman or Beyonce do. But there's still, the opera fans are very dedicated and very, very passionate. And I'll tell you, if you're wondering about whether young people are going to see it, so we have a family chat every week. And yesterday, my nephew, who's in his 30s, he and his girlfriend said, "Oh, we went to see Le Nozze di Figaro at Portland Opera. It was fantastic." So, I mean, yeah, they have a little connection to opera through me, but they chose to spend their time and their entertainment dollars going to the opera. It's true that opera audiences are the typical opera audience is aging, older, wealthy, but that's not the whole picture at all. There's a lot of younger people that come to the opera and love it, and there is a growing and expanding audience for opera.
Yeah, I totally agree with Cindy about pre and post COVID. That you can really not compare what the trajectory was now, because what at post COVID to what happened pre COVID. I do agree that the smaller opera companies, because they're nimble and we're already very lean, survived and are embedded in the grassroots. They could survive very quickly, and the larger ones are struggling a little bit. But the thing with opera companies, for me, it's going back to what I just had in Raleigh, is everyone wants to be a part of something exceptional, and that exceptional quality is obviously the high quality product that you have in the theater, the visual aspects, the sonic aspects, everything. It's also the theater itself. The people like even going to it. You think of Dayton, Ohio. They have this amazing performing arts complex designed by Caesar Pelli, and it is so beautiful. The hall is acoustically perfect, and it's packed. It's packed. People love coming into town, going to the orchestra, seeing the opera and the ballet. They all perform there. So just like these small opera companies that are thriving, and just like politics, everything is local. And you can see Atlanta Opera is just thriving right now. Pensacola is thriving. These are all different budgets. Arizona is thriving because they serve their constituency and have always maintained a quality product, and have been led by administrators who've been there for a long time. So they've earned the trust of the patron, taking them on different journeys. Even if it's a show that's not in the top 10 or is challenging, you have to earn that as a impresario. A great example, it was the first person that I talked about in my career was Dale Johnson, who was at Minnesota Opera for at least 30 years. And under his artistic leadership, when they would have an offering for a season, there'd be the Donizetti Queens, the Queen series would sell out before La Boheme. because he had this commitment to the bel canto tradition and doing obscure donizettis. And he took the audience along for that. There are new work series would sell out before Rigoletto because, oh my God, what's this new piece they're doing that they've been curating for a number of years, taking them on that journey to when it's performed. So it's when you think long term, the companies that are surviving are the ones that are embedded in their community. They're in that cultural fabric and are exceptional in that way. Where when you walk through the door, you can feel the energy. You can feel the just like it was in the 19th century for in opera houses. You were there to be a part, to be um, um, kind of stupid, to be seen, right? But that's not just about the elites. It's about a community coming together and sharing an experience in the theater, crying, laughing. That is the magic of it. That's the magic of it all, is being together in there and feeling this enormous art form, all the kinetic energy coming at you, watching the athleticism of the people on stage in the pit behind the stage that you don't even see. And it all comes to in 3 hours of telling a story.